Good morning. We'll call the Tippecanoe County Commissioners meeting to order. If you'll please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started on our agenda today, I'd like to have a moment of silence for a former elected official that we lost last week, Shannon Withers, who served as the county recorder but also served in the treasurer's office and in the auditor's office. Lost her long battle with cancer. So if we could have a moment of silence for Shannon and her family. Thank you very much. Okay, the first item then is the approval of the minutes.
Mr. President, I move that we approve those minutes as submitted.
I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion passes. And accounts payable vouchers.
Mr. President, I'd like to recommend the claims from December 5th through December 16th be approved without exception, please.
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that passes. And payroll.
And Mr. President, I'd also like to recommend the payroll dated December 6th, 2024 be approved without exception.
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and that also passes. Highway Department, Mr. Klein.
Sorry on. Good morning.
Morning.
First item is a four-wheel drive loader for the highway garage. We received 5 proposals. McAllister Equipment submitted the low bid for a CAT 950 GC loader. The total price plus a discount for our trade-in is $280,269, and we're recommending acceptance of that proposal.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the award as outlined by our highway engineer.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion passes.
Second item we have is on the County Road 500 East reconstruction. We have a temporary right-of-way grant for parcel 31 Dormy LLC in the amount of $1,150.
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion passes. All right. Next, we have a couple of ARPA interagency agreements. I'll turn it over to Doug to review.
Yeah, the first one's with the Highway Department, so we did some of this at the Drainage Board, but the ARPA money needs to be obligated by December 31st, 2024, and not spent until December 31st, 2026. There's basically 3 ways you can do that. One is through issuing contracts. The other is having a sub-grantee agreement. And the third, they've allowed you to do it through interagency agreements, which means interagency between pieces of county government. And the goal is really just to narrow the universe of projects so that the federal government knows that this money's getting spent on some specific types of things. So what this one does is it allocates $1.75 million to the construction of an intersection along State Road 38 near its junction with I-65, improving an area that you've called the Lafayette Steel Site, which is the project. And so it's just an agreement between the Highway Department and the commissioners to spend the money for that purpose.
Mr. President, I would move for approval of the ARPA interagency agreement with the Highway Department.
I will second that motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that passes. And then we have a second one.
Yeah, this one's with the Drainage Board. It's 10.19 million. It's with respect to the Buck Creek Culver and wastewater project.
Mr. President,
I-
go ahead.
Is the 10.19,
Yeah, so
that's the unspent
Yeah, I
portion?
should have
Okay, I wanted to make sure,
clarified
okay.
that. So all of this was subject to the spending plan that you presented, that you approved here and presented to the council, and they've appropriated that money. For this project, there's 11.3 million, a little more than that. Of that, the commissioners have already obligated 1.1 million, so they've paid some design fees, and they've got money, commissioners, you guys have set aside for the lagoon site acquisition. The actual construction and other related forthcoming fees is where that 10.19 million comes from.
Okay. All right, thank you for that clarification.
Mr. President, I would move for approval of the ARPA interagency agreement with the Drainage Board as outlined by council.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes. All right, thank you. Sadie, good morning.
Good morning. My first item is on behalf of the prosecutor's office. He's unable to make it today. They are requesting to eliminate the high-tech crime unit digital forensics analyst K-9 handler position at a PAT 5 and create high-tech crime unit digital forensics analysis PAT 4. Essentially, all they've done is eliminate the K-9 duties from that position. The employee currently in the position is aware of the reclassification or the change in duties.
Mr. President, I would move that we eliminate the HCU digital forensics analyst K-9 handler position at a PAT 5, and once that's eliminated, create the same position minus the K-9 handler duties
At a PAT 4.
at PAT 4.
Okay. I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Secondly is an amendment to our professional services agreement with Proactive. This is additional provider hours in our clinic. This will help mitigate the lack of availability for sick appointments for employees. The additional cost is $2,840 per month, and it's roughly 40 hours per week the second provider per month, that the second provider will be adding.
Okay. All right. And that's been an issue, obviously, is the availability of actual sick appointments at the clinic.
Correct. We've had complaints about lack of sick appointment availability. And I have the signed agreement in my email.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve the amendment to the professional services agreement with Proactive MD LLC, and I'd also note that it is a 3-year term.
I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Health Department. Morning, Stacy.
So the first thing that I have is our professional service agreement with Carol Ott. She is currently over there, and we are trying to renew it for 2025. She helps out TCHD and at Gateway to Hope. She also is an asset on our suicide overdose fatality review team.
Mr. President, I move for approval of the professional services agreement with Purdue University in the amount of $46,225.60.
And I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
The next thing I have is our request for programming that we announced in September. I do have the partnership vendors here. If I could ask if they could stand when I say their name so they can be recognized. Not everyone is here. We did have 15 applicants and 12 of them were approved. Is that okay if I do that?
Oh,
Okay.
sure, certainly.
Dynamic Health, Inner Strength Counseling, LTHC, Pride Lafayette, Purdue Extension, Purdue Extension, and Purdue Extension. Recovery Cafe, Transform Birth Services, Tippecanoe County Villa, Wabash Township, and YMCA. This was a grueling application process, so if I could ask for a round of applause, I appreciate it. And I am looking forward to these partnerships. This came from the HFI, Health First Indiana funding. Any questions?
So appreciate all the effort that went into the application process. And again, this could be very valuable partnerships, and hopefully it's funding that's ongoing, and we can make a real difference with that.
Yes.
Thank you, Stacy, and your team. I know it was a lot of work getting that information out and then going through the scoring process. Congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you, Sharon and Diff.
So do we need to take action on this? Is this?
Guess I'm not sure what you have in front of you. It sounds
They're the
like maybe you're
contracts.
approving the awards as outlined.
Yeah, but we don't have the actual contracts yet. You'll be working on that
Oh.
now.
I have them.
Oh, you do have them?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we are approving the actual
Yeah,
contracts.
you have the overview of funding, and then I had the actual contracts.
And have you had a chance to review those? Okay, great, okay. So we are approving each of these contracts then.
I hope so.
I think you can just approve the awards as outlined in the sheet there.
Okay.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve the awards as Stacy's outlined and as outlined in a document for the Health First Indiana process.
And I will second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes. Thank you.
Do you want me to stay up here?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
yes.
so next on the agenda for the Health Department is the new health officer. I would like to bring up Dr. Seema Kengari, but I would like her to say her name because I don't do it very well. She will be starting with us January 1. So, Dr. Kengari, take it away.
Thank you all. Thank you to the commissioners and ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, first of all, to the amazing people of the Tippecanoe County Health Department. And I'm greatly honored. It'll be my privilege to serve as the health officer for the Tippecanoe County. And I am looking forward to working with the great many challenges that face our county. And I would be willing to go and meet with the community partners as soon as I take office in January of 2025, and it would be my honor and privilege to work in collaborative ways with the community leaders and members. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and with that, our action will be to approve the appointment as recommended by the Tippecanoe County Board of Health.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve the appointment of Dr. Seema Kengari as our county health officer.
I will second that. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That motion passes. Thank you and congratulations. All right. Next, we have a resolution creating a county health fund. I'm going to turn it over to Doug.
Yeah, this is sort of cleanup in that the statute IC 1620-2-17 contemplates expenditures on the health department coming out of a county health fund. I think this has been on the books for a long time, but we've just paid it out of the general fund. All you're doing is creating the fund. It'll be up to the council to make the appropriations.
Mr. President, I would move for adoption of Resolution 2024-32-CM, the resolution creating the county health fund. That's my motion.
I will second that motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes. All right, Community Corrections. Keena, good morning.
Good morning. I am asking for permission to continue our agreement with the Trex company. That's the company that any debt that we have, we send them information, they send out letters, and then we're able to obtain debt from their tax returns that they receive.
From state tax returns?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve the letter of agreement with AIC for the Trex Clearinghouse.
And I will second that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have a contract between Purdue University and Tippecanoe County for extension services. Good morning.
Good morning. This morning, I have the 2025 contractual service agreement for your signature.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve the extension of contractual services with Purdue University in the amount of $210,765.
Okay, and I will second that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Pitney Bowes lease agreement.
All right, and if the clerk and the treasurer would join at the podium. This is a service agreement for new inserter folder relay machines in both the treasurer's office and the clerk's office. We're going to go to a lease agreement, and I will let them explain to you why we needed to do this.
So we've loved working with Pinnacle Maintenance, Joe Baker. They come out whenever we ask them to come out, and I have to give the treasurer's office credit because they have been dealing with this machine, this monster of a machine, for years, and I don't think they even knew how good it could be. Though the machines over years, I agree with the lease because owning the machines, after a few years, they just start jamming. I mean, there's just issues, the parts wear and tear. You've been dealing with yours for decades. I don't know how they've done it, but we do thousands of jury envelopes, and we stuff the envelopes even with return envelopes. This machine does it all in one. And then we also do it for elections. We use it for elections, too. Elections is also used her behemoth, but it gets jammed too much. So we would love this to continue.
Yeah, our folder is near its end, and we do need an updated machine, and we will be printing tax bills this year and into the future. We also do demand letters, garnishment letters, so we use the machine more than just tax bills. Other departments are also welcome to use the machine, and they do come up, and we help them with mailings.
Okay.
And then just a procedural point, I guess, is that there's two agreements here. One is a lease agreement for the machines through Pitney Bowes and a maintenance agreement through Pinnacle. And the two are tied together, so I'd recommend you approve them together.
And where do those lease payments come from? Which fund?
They will come out of our fund. We have a budget set for that.
From
From EDIT.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve both the lease agreement for the equipment through Pitney Bowes and the ongoing maintenance agreement with Pinnacle as outlined by staff.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have an additional services contract with DLZ.
And this is part of the services contract with the work for the new juvenile detention center. And the cost has come about because of a site change in the location. And looks like the additional cost is $215,000. So with that, I would move for approval.
I will second that. Any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes. And grants. Good morning, Sharon.
Morning. I don't know if you have the updated script, but there was an update this morning, so we'll see how we go. First of all, I'd like to apply for the Health Department funds from the Drug-Free Coalition of Tippecanoe County to support the Recovery Coach at Gateway to Hope for the upcoming year.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That passes.
Youth Services would like to apply for the JDAI fiscal year 25 regular grant to fund the teen court, policing the teen brain, tutoring the parent and teaching education groups in the amount of $95,000.
Move for approval to apply.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
And Youth Services would also like to apply for the Juvenile Community Corrections FY25 grant to fund the school-based interventions, home detention, intensive home-based services, and other evidence-based programming in the amount of $271,637.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
Grants to accept, the Villa would like to accept the funding from the Health First Indiana to assist with the ADA projects and updates to the facility to reduce the risk of falls and injuries of patients living in the facilities.
So moved.
Second. I'm assuming that's the same pot of money we just celebrated.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I have to ask your permission to
Yep,
accept it.
Exactly. So, all in favor, say aye. Aye. That motion passes.
And then Circuit Court received their award for from the Indiana Supreme Court grant for $74,000 to administer the Adult Guardianship Office of Volunteer Advocates for Seniors or Incapacitated Adults. This funding supplements the Wabash Center Guardianship Services with an MOU with the judge person.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes.
Youth Services received the JDAI performance-based grant in the amount of $38,500.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
And the final one is the Health Department received the Foundation of Indianapolis grant for $15,000 to assist with the syringe exchange program at the Gateway to Hope. That was the addition this morning. That was addition to the addition.
So moved.
Oh, okay. So not in addition to the.
No, it was in addition to my script.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We have a motion. I'll second that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That motion passes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. And then we have one application to the Villa.
Mr. President, I would move that we accept Betty Nelson at the Villa.
I will second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. And unfinished new business. Doug?
Yeah, I got you just recently, sorry for the last minute, but an engagement letter with Barnes and Thornburg having to do with a perf matter. You may remember Dustin Meeks, he's helped us with some ARPA stuff. He'll be on this along with his colleague, Rick Weingardner.
Move for approval.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. All right, reports on file. We have a report from the clerk of the circuit court, from the Tippecanoe County Coroner's Office, from Tipmont Wintec, from Tippecanoe County Public Library, and from the Treasurer's Office. And those will be on file in the Commissioner's Office. Public comment. Is there anybody that would like to address the commissioners? Seeing none,
Move to adjourn.
we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.